Okay, hi, welcome to our second day of the Global Engagement Expo. Thank you for joining. Today we are speaking with Bridget Donahue-Warnholt. There she is. And she's going to be introducing Arcadia University and their programs to our campus and the options that are available for our students. So thank you again for joining us, Bridget, and I'm going to let her speak. Just so you know, if you have any questions, please type them into the chat and I will help facilitate those questions for Bridget so that she can stay going with her presentation. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, I guess I should. Hi, thanks for joining, Karen. We just started, so you haven't missed anything. I was just introducing our guest today, Bridget Donahue-Warnholt, who will be sharing with us information about Arcadia University's programs that are available to our students. So thank you.
All right, and I'm going to share my screen then. So thanks, Sheree. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. I'm excited to be speaking to Cal State Fullerton students. I myself am a graduate of Cal State Fullerton. I won't say the year, but it was a couple years ago. And I'm a local. I do, as Sheree mentioned, I do work for Arcadia University at the College of Global Studies. We just shorthand, we call it Arcadia Abroad. But I'm born and raised here in Southern California, and I'm raising my own family here within a stone's throw, really, of Cal State Fullerton's campus. So welcome, everyone. So today, as we said, my name is Bridget Donahue-Warnholt. I'm the Associate Director of Institutional Relations for Arcadia University. What that means to you is I'm the person who, dollars to donuts, if you're sending an email or you're going to a fair or something like this, it's going to be me that you're running into. And hopefully I'm the person who's got the answers that you need. If not, I'm the person who will go and find the answers for you. So I'm sort of that person that connects. If you've got a question, I find the person who has the answers for you. Hope that makes sense. So about Arcadia, just so you have an idea of why I keep saying Arcadia. Arcadia was founded in 1853. It is not the oldest institution, but it's certainly, in comparison to our understanding of old institutions here in California, it's certainly on the old side. It's just outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, and we have been facilitating study abroad since 1948. We picked that date because that's the first time after World War II, a group of our students went abroad with a faculty member, and it really started us on this path. At this point, we have something like 90% of our students at graduation have had a study abroad experience. And we also we facilitate study abroad for students all over the country who come to us through partner institutions like Cal State Fullerton. So it's not just Arcadia students, it's not just Cal State Fullerton students, it's a group of students from all over the country who join us on these programs that we've established. Speaking of programs, we have 130 programs in, I believe we're saying the count recently is 11 countries. So these represent all the disciplines that you can imagine, whether you're a fine arts student, a business student, kinesiology, engineering, mathematics. I know I'm missing a lot in there and I apologize, but you get the idea. We really do cover everything. Alumni. We have a lot of alumni around the world, or who have studied around the world. And if you have questions, if you'd like to talk to an alumni, let us know. I can get you in touch with someone who's been on a program if you're interested in learning more about it. I may not be able to get you a Cal State Fullerton student per se, but I'll find you someone. Sorry, we went the wrong way. So why Arcadia? We've been around a long time, lots of students, programs, you've heard all of that. At the center of everything we do, it's about the student. And so really that's sort of our guiding philosophy and our guiding force is, how does this benefit the student? How does this educate them? How does this provide them with more cultural interaction, a depth of knowledge, all of these things? And so this is what we ask when we're building programs, when we're deciding on the extracurricular opportunities, the during the on-site orientation once you get to country. This is what the discussion is always fueled by. How does this put the student at the center, and how does this help them better understand where they are, provide them with a better educational experience, all of those things. So my answer to you would be, why Arcadia? And it's because we're putting you at the center of everything we do. Excuse me. So Arcadia, what do we provide, right? So Arcadia provides, as I mentioned, in-country orientation. We're sort of jumping around here. We also provide pre-departure orientations. Those are virtual because we're working with students all over the country. We do have advising also, and some of that might be in non-COVID days, it might be you and me sitting across from each other at a table, or visiting each other at Cal State Fullerton. It could also be a Zoom call or a phone call with a program manager. Right now, we're also engaging a lot with our staff in country. So if you're interested in going to New Zealand, I might set up a call or a Zoom meeting with you and one of our team members in New Zealand. It all depends. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to get advising. As I mentioned, we have in-country staff wherever we work. So there's always someone that represents Arcadia who's on the ground to help. We meet you at the airport. If you have issues with whatever it is, your health, if you've got a tooth and need to see, a sore tooth and need to see the dentist, our in-country staff is there to help. They're also there to help support you in your academic goals. So they'll be talking to you about the courses you've chosen, making sure that you understand the academic culture that you've arrived into. If you've got questions about writing papers or taking exams, what the academic expectations may be and how they differ from those here in the United States. They're there as experts to really help you, and ambassadors to make sure that you better understand the landscape where you're living. The excursions and co-curricular experiences, which I've already talked about, are organized. They start for that first few days when you're in country, when you're seeing the sites, and it seems like a good time before school starts. But really, a lot of that is built with the students in mind to get you acclimated to the country you're in, your host country, and also to help you better understand the culture. So there's a lot built into it. We also have other excursions and events that happen throughout the semester, and those are, if they're not included, then they're heavily subsidized, and they're also optional. So if you're the type of student who's already put your backpack on your back and spent the first, second and third weekends visiting all sorts of sites unseen in that country, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you're the student who wants to be part of those organized events, if you want to go to the theater with a group, or have that opportunity to do whatever it is, that sightseeing or educational experience, then please take part in those. We do offer comprehensive health insurance. It's a fantastic health insurance, and it's just part of the flat fee that you pay. And then financial assistance. So we can work with you on scholarships. We have our own scholarships, which I believe I touch on later, and we can also help if financial aid is an issue. We can help find avenues for you. So study abroad at Arcadia University is fairly traditional, I'll be honest. We offer full year, semester, summer. Those are broken down into in-personal now and virtual, because we do offer both. And then we also have international and domestic. I know when we say study abroad, we always think abroad. We have grown and changed with the times, and so we also offer the domestic as well. Traditional study abroad is always going to be our bread and butter though. We do offer internships in many of our locations, including the domestic option. And we really have been a leader in STEM abroad for a number of years. So the semester programs are broken down into center-based and direct enroll. So not to confuse the issue, because I think it can be confusing, but you can go to, say, London with Arcadia and be at the London Center, take American style courses and be with other Americans from around the country. Or you could go to London and be with King's College and take courses there, and always have the London Center as your backup. If you need help academically, or they're having social events, if you need the copy center, or just want to hang out with the other students that you traveled to the United Kingdom with, that's always there for you. And that's a similar experience in several of our locations. The credits that you earn should count toward graduation. Typically those would go, Sherry, it would be transfer credit, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, okay, transfer credit. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. And then the financial aid, depending on how Cal State Fullerton is willing to do it, your financial aid, some of it could transfer. Definitely your federal aid can transfer. We can work with you on that. So what we help with, I've mentioned a lot of this already. I'll try to go through it quickly. Course selection. Sorry?
I don't want to, can I ask you, like, since you have a little bit of a break, we had a question. It's about the virtual programs for summer. Do they offer an optional excursion in the host country after the pandemic?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Everything is so unsettled right now. I don't know really how they would go about that, but it's certainly something to think about. I'll make a note and see what options are available, because I can see where that would be really enticing and valuable. So thank you for whoever thought of that question.
That was Priscilla.
Oh, good job, Priscilla. Thank you. So housing, in all but our domestic program, housing is included in the price of the program. We help advising with your visa applications, your travel bookings. We'll make recommendations, especially about when to arrive and where to arrive, and when to book those flights and other travel bookings. Airport pickups, as I mentioned before, we pick up at the airport. There is a window of opportunity for that. If for some reason, especially coming from the West Coast, if you're going to, other parts of the world, sometimes we end up sort of just outside of that time period. And if that were to happen to you, don't panic. We also offer a guide so that you can find the rest of the group, so that you can get to the place of orientation. But if you let the director know, or whoever is doing the pickup, if you let them know that something's gone on, like your flight's been delayed, they'll work with you around that. Packing tips and tricks, and then finances and budgeting. We have an entire section about additional expenses that you might encounter, like outside travel or food if you don't have a catered option, things like that. So we make suggestions, and then really we're here to help however we can. The what's included list is very long. I've already mentioned housing. I think the important things to mention here are beyond, I'll repeat that the health insurance and accident insurance is included, the courses are included, the housing's included. There was something, transcripts. So if you go to whichever country where we work, and you come back, you will have an Arcadia transcript. And the reason this is useful and important is that Arcadia, we will be the school of record, and we will have translated your international transcript into an American style transcript, which is very helpful for you either now for transferring those credits back, but also if, say, you're applying to graduate school or something like that, because you can still get the copy of the original transcript, but then you have that American style transcript on your record already, and you can use it however you need. It just saves you a step, makes life a little easier, and that's really what this is about. Co-curricular learning certificate is on there, so I'll mention that as well. It is an opportunity for students to do sort of independent research while they're abroad. It's not for credit, and there's no charge to do it. You do work with an academic advisor, and at the end, you'll have either a paper or photo essay or artwork, or really there's all sorts of interpretations of how you do this, but you've picked a topic, and then you have done research, and then you have this end result, and you turn it into the academic advisor. It goes all the way up to the dean, and then they award you with a certificate, and it shows up as a line on your transcript, and it says that this student did this work outside of the classroom, and this is how we're acknowledging it. And a lot of that, we've come to the decision, the reason we do this is we've come to the decision that students do a lot outside of the classroom, and learning isn't only in the classroom. And so this gives you an opportunity to be acknowledged for that. So the next
quick question related to the course credit and what you're saying about transcripts. So for virtual credit bearing summer internships, do they cost more than non-credit internships?
So we don't offer any non-credit internships, so I honestly don't know. I wouldn't have anything to compare it to. But
so all of the internships you offer are credit bearing?
Everything we offer is for credit.
Okay, that's good.
So if we had an internship, there would be a course attached. I'll use London as my example. It's an IMP 230 or something with an S after it for summer. And so there's a course that the students attend, and then the internship is sort of the lab that goes along with it. And so they're out in their work placement, and then they bring that information back, and that's part of the discussion in the class. And so it all dovetails together. And so, and there are these students, especially virtually, they could be working anywhere in the world. And so if that's the case, then they're coming back to that faculty member and having those discussions. And then there will be an end document of some sort, an exam or a paper, and that class is what they're graded on, because we can't grade on an internship, so to speak.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. Okay. And just for the students in the room, for the CSUF side, for getting credit that is useful to you in your major, or could be useful towards credit towards degree completion. If you are trying to get credit within your major program, it's just a matter of working with your department to make sure it coincides with all of the parameters that they require be in place to meet that same internship credit as if you were doing the internship course at Cal State Fullerton. So working with the Center for Internships and Community Engagement, CICE, they do tend to, if a student is doing a program, an international internship program, they do tend to prefer not that they don't mind at all helping the students who find direct internships where they then have to do all of these verification steps to make sure it meets all of the CSUF requirements. But in the package of an internship where the partner, like Arcadia, is doing a transcript that has then been signed off on by the department, the CICE has said they're very happy and willing to accept the transcripts in this case, because it's helpful for them because someone else has done the work of vetting the internship placement. it can be a months-long process that the CICE office has to go through when they're vetting direct internship placements. And so this for them is kind of, it's just a boon for them, because it really helps them out, knowing that an accredited university has already done that for them. So just to help you kind of understand at Fullerton, choosing one partner, why that could also be beneficial in helping you administratively.
Wonderful. Thank you. And that helps me too. So good to know. Finding the program that you're going to utilize is really important. We try to make it as easy as possible. I have a screenshot here of our sort of the landing page for our website. And you'll see you can start with these simple questions. There's 4 simple questions: what, where, how, and when. Or you can go down to the bottom here where it says find a program. Either of these routes is valid. What I have to say is I always seem to go to find a program. And so I'm going to try this. Hopefully it'll play. There's no sound, so don't panic. But it's very simple. And so this is just from a phone, what it looks like. You pick the find a program. And as you go through, you're going to pick the same things: what, where, how, and when, or in this case, it's when, what, where, and how for some reason in a different order. And you can start with a wide net, or you can start with a really narrow net. You can pick your major, or as close to your major as possible. I know some majors are pretty specific. And then you can pick your location. Now, you don't have to pick all of these. You can skip over. If you know that you really want to study abroad in your major, but you're not sure where that's going to be available to you, then you don't have to select a country at all. You don't have to select a major if you know your heart tells you that you have to be in South Africa. So it's okay to pick and go back, and if that didn't work out, clear it. You could also pick slowly by, I know I want to do research in the summer. It's whatever works for you. But this is this shows some of the results from the search I did, which got us 11 results. And I like to just think of those as little recipe cards. If you click in, then you'll see all about that program. If that's not the one you're looking for, go back and try it again. And it's really a very simple process. I think at some point it's going to open up Manchester here. While that's going, I also wanted to mention the fact that applications through Arcadia there's no charge for an application. So it's okay if if you're thinking about a program, it's okay to start that application. The initial portion of it takes about 15, maybe not even that, 10 minutes. And you answer some very simple questions. You give us an idea of what you're looking for, and then you've started an application. Typically what will happen if you come in as an inquiry or having started an application, they're considering you an inquiry, is that you'll get a follow-up email asking if you have further questions, that sort of thing. And so feel free to tell us that you do, or tell us to take a hike until you're ready to talk to us. That's okay too.
We have a question kind of about the application.
Great.
Cycles. If somebody is interested in spring 2022, when should they apply? And I'll initially answer the question on behalf of CSUF. You would want to apply, I want to say that spring applications are internal application, because you'll be doing kind of a 2-tier application process where you apply first to Cal State Fullerton for an independent program option, and Arcadia's program brochure is in our Teradata website. And then you can simultaneously be filling out an Arcadia application if it's already open, but you would need to do both, because Cal State Fullerton does require participation in the application process through the university, because there's some reporting requirements. Financial aid is often tied to, and this allows the university to keep track of those administrative processes for all the students, risk management, and you know, all of those types of things. So our process, because we are going to be wrapping up the fall and academic year applications pretty soon here in March, our spring application will open after that. So I would say look for that in April from us. And then I'll let Bridget answer the question about when to apply for Arcadia's application for spring 2022.
I'm making a note of your guidelines as well, just so I have them moving forward. We have rolling applications. So a student could actually apply today to study abroad in 2025 if they wanted. I wouldn't recommend that, but you could do that. So for spring 2022, as soon as the Cal State Fullerton application process has begun, as soon as you've gotten through that or started it, you're welcome to open applications with us. Once you have an application submitted with us, you can also apply for one of our scholarships. So that's something, and I don't know if the person who asked this is also asking about internships, but I'm going to touch on scholarships and then internships quickly. With the scholarships, the rule of thumb for us has always been that if you apply by the first of the month, you should know by the middle of that month, but definitely by the end of the month. Everybody knows things are a little wonky right now because of the pandemic. So we're putting in a little padding there, but you should know by the end of the month if you're receiving one of the Arcadia scholarships. On the Arcadia website, in fact, let me just bring it up really quickly. This is our website. And if I go to scholarship, it's already in my drop down because I type it in so often. You can see the Arcadia scholarships here and the application. But then you can also just scroll down and there's a find your scholarship section where we have a library of other scholarships that you might also qualify for. And those have everything from your major to your family history, where you live in the country, where you want to go abroad. There's all kinds of things that could allow you to receive additional scholarships. And by all means, layer those if you can. You know, the more money, the more awards that you can qualify for, the better. So that's the scholarships. Now, for internships, scholarships is about a month out. Internships, the sooner you apply, the better, because you have more time to work with the internship placement folks on our team and find that internship that's going to really be the best possible case for you. If we're talking about our international internships, they work slightly differently. They're international. What they will do is have interviews with you, work with you on your resume, and then they're going to find placements for you. In our domestic program in Philadelphia, and I'll talk about it again shortly, but what they really do is come up with you in a collaborative sense. They come up with options. Dr. Mark Clark, the person who does the placements, will go out and contact those employers, make those entrees, and then set up interviews with you. So you'll have the experience of sitting interviews. You'll have the experience of fine-tuning your resume with someone who can advise you on it. And then you, along with the employer, get to decide on which of, say, 3 opportunities is the one you want to move forward with. And sometimes based on what they have to offer, maybe it's 2 of them because they're not offering your full 40 hours a week sort of a situation. So there's a lot that can come into play. So the sooner you apply and get moving in an internship in particular, and also STEM summer research, which I'll talk about in a moment, the better, really. So I'd say as soon as Cal State Fullerton opens it would be a good time to start. With that, STEM is the next thing I was going to talk about. So why STEM with Arcadia? As I mentioned before, we've really become sort of a leader in international STEM or STEM abroad. And part of that, or a large portion of our success in this area, is because of the gentleman here in the blue circle on the right-hand side of the screen, Dr. Jesse Gwynn. And he is our Assistant Dean of STEM at the College of Global Studies, and he's just a whiz. Jesse is a scientist himself who came to Arcadia after advising undergraduate and graduate students, and his love of advising students really has directed a lot of this. What Jesse has been able to do, and I'll show you some samples, is work with our partner institutions abroad to give students ideas of majors where you can study in those majors. So if you were to look at our STEM brochure, which I can pull up after if anybody's interested, you could see that he's said for biology majors, go to these however many locations, and then you can look and see, yes, they have this kind of biology or this kind of chemistry. The important thing to know is we recognize the fact that most STEM students have certain sequences that they need to be taking their courses in, so that like if you're abroad in the fall or the spring, there's that specific course you have to take at that time so that when you get home, you can take the next course in that sequence. We understand that. And so what Jesse is really terrific at is helping students find an equivalent course abroad so that you can take that information, take it to your department, get it approved, and then you can go abroad with that, what is the word I'm looking for? Comfort of knowing that you're still on track, because the last thing we want to do is have anyone's graduation delayed because they went abroad, and it shouldn't be a question, and it shouldn't be a stumbling block for you to go abroad. So these are samples of what Jesse has done by major, and there's more of them available, and also he's available to help advising students if they need it. We've talked about virtual programs before, and I'm going to touch on a couple of them. And these are specific to STEM at this point. So we have a couple new programs. Arcadia has partnered with an organization called 2U. They're a global education partner, and we're working with Semester of Code. So this is available in the fall, in the spring, and in the summer. So the full stack coding program and the coding internship program are available in the semester, in the traditional semesters, fall and spring. Intensive front-end coding is the summer option. And these are, as you might guess, coding. But the interesting thing is they're open to all majors. These are not coding programs for coding majors. In fact, what we would typically advise is this is not for your computer science major. This is for a major or a student, as we have here illustrated, a liberal arts student who wants to get tangible skills to combine with their other degree seeking work. For science students outside of computer science, for a marketing student to ground their business skills and technology. It's really a way to enhance what you're already doing and bring it to that next level, because we're all very aware that coding and technology are very much the future of work. And so having coding and that experience, no matter what line of work you end up going into, should be something that not accentuates your resume, but really it's something you can highlight on your resume that should help you stand out. And then we have STEM Summer Research, or STEM or SEM Research is the way it's phrased here. We have 8 programs available over the summer. Now, I want to point out to you that 4 of these right now are not open because of the pandemic, but we have them highlighted here. It says summer 2022, just so you know. But this is something that a year from now will be open again and will be available for application. Any of our STEM summer research opportunities are truly what they sound like. They are opportunities for students to study and to conduct research in a different country with a research team You are not being flown over to, say, Scotland so that you can clean beakers and sweep the floor. You will be there as a member of that research team. And then you will also have the opportunity to take part in the cultural events that Arcadia offers. You'll be in the Arcadia housing with the other summer students. And so it'll be sort of a hybrid experience of being 8 hours a day in the lab with scientists, and then having these other opportunities on the side. Something to keep in mind is, again, it's a great way to build your resume. And it's a way to make international connections in a field that at this point we assume you're going into. So if you're applying for, say, the STEM Summer Research in Dublin opportunity, you will be studying or you'll be doing research shoulder to shoulder with scientists. And those are people that you can then call on later as recommendations or references for graduate school or jobs, and hopefully just friendships, moving forward. It's a great way to meet people. The summer project lists go up between Thanksgiving and Christmas, closer to Thanksgiving, and they are very competitive. So if you're a student who's interested in learning about that, please visit the website. You can check out the projects are listed by their focus to start with. And then once you go in, you can see a detailed explanation of the research that's being conducted. And then next to that, it will say open if there are still places on that research project open. And then if it's not available at that time, it will say reserved. So that's something important to look for. Other STEM opportunities really quickly. Girton College at the University of Cambridge is a summer option that is classroom-based, and they teach engineering courses. So it's a nice opportunity for engineering students to get classroom credit at a prestigious institution in a beautiful part of the United Kingdom. I also studied in Cambridge and can tell you it's amazing in the summer. And just a nice line on your resume, if nothing else. And then UCL, University College London, their summer program is STEM. I believe that's mostly in the health sciences, but it's something to think of too. Again, that's classroom based. It's not the independent research or the research we were talking about before. And then our Intern Philly program, which I've alluded to a couple times. Intern Philly is based in Philadelphia. At the heart of it, it's about the internship. There's the core course and the internship. These are customized for you. So you would have an interview and talk to the director, and he would help you decide what internship would be the best for you. You can see here the recommended GPA is a 2.5. We really do try to keep it so that students from all academic experiences can take part. And the one thing that I don't think we have listed on here is it's incredibly affordable. So if you're interested in Intern Philly, let me know and I can share some of that information with you, or you can go on the website and see it for yourself. Again, it's available in the spring and the summer, in the fall, and there's also the internship only option. Virtually, I know, Cherie, we've been talking about the virtual options. If a student were to do this virtually internship only, I believe that's the $2,100. And talk about affordable, 6 weeks, 3 credit program. So that's a great one to test out if, a student thinks they might like to do something as a career. It's a nice way to get that experience. Again, quickly, there are other courses available through Intern Philly. Social justice is what they tend to focus on. There's also courses in architecture and culture and sorry, someone just fell in my house, guys, sorry. There's academic mentoring along the way, as well as cultural events. that we do both for virtual students as well as those students who are in person in Philly. And I think that the great thing about Philadelphia is that it's domestic. And right now, especially with the pandemic and not knowing what our travel restrictions are going to be a few months from now, at least you know you can get to Philadelphia. And so that really, it just makes that option a little sweeter and I think a little more accessible to all of us. So next steps, we're finally here. Next steps. If you're interested, of course, meet with your study abroad advisor at Cal State Fullerton. You can apply to our program. There's the link there. Don't forget Arcadia scholarships. If you've got questions, you can email me at donoghub@arcadia.edu. I'm also the only person in this part of the country on our website, so that helps. And we can also go to I also have a little study abroad table I'll be sharing. And there's important things that you can click around and find on here. You can sign up for more information, get information about scholarships. The little postcards are links to social media, and all of our brochures are right there. So let me get that and share it. Cherie, are there any questions that you've got that I can answer?
Not at the moment, thank you. Right now, a couple of people had to go because there's some other sessions going on, but one person did say, are you going to be sharing this? And I'm like, yes, we're going to have this up later, so students will be able to review the information at their their leisure.
At their leisure, absolutely.
Exactly. So yeah, if there's any, I don't know if you wish to share. Oh, there, she's given the link.
That's the table. Yeah.
That's the table. So, and that will also, we have the transcript of the presentation as well. So all of that with the visuals and everything you said will be available. So, and I also pointed them to our Fullerton website, which will link to Arcadia's website when students want to know more. So
wonderful.
Okay. Are there any other questions before we end the session from anyone? Doesn't look
Thank
like
you
it.
too, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. So I think that wraps everything up. Thank you for joining. And there's quite a few more sessions tomorrow to end our expo. I think this may be, we're in the last half hour of today's session. So thank you again for joining. And hopefully we'll be visiting and contacting Bridget soon. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.